All right, class of 2024, we are going to get started. Welcome, thank you. This is our fourth session in a row, and this will probably be the best session because we have made all our mistakes with class of 21, 22, and 23. So you will probably, we really know what we're doing now, we think. So it is great to have you here, and it was great to see some of you at the tours this week. And Ms. Deemer will talk about what happens if you missed your tour and when you can come to campus. So first thing, daily screening tool. Basically, we will talk about this at the end because we'll show it to you. But when you come to campus, before you enter campus, you will have to go to the link we will show you at the end of this session, and you will have to answer questions. We'll say more about that later. Social distancing, yes, you must wear a mask while you are on campus. That is a requirement, and we ask you to do social distancing, which is 6 feet apart. Some of you may say we thought it was 3 feet apart. No, that's just for elementary age students because they do not transmit COVID very easily. If you forget a mask, we will have lots of extra masks here on campus. Enter exit pathways. Well, you don't know because you haven't been here for regular school, but we normally students enter campus from all different gates and directions. Because we are in COVID times, we will have a limited number of entrances. We will send you a map on Sunday night to tell you where the entrances are that will be open for students to enter. You will be able to enter any entrance that's open. So that's how that will work. All right, this is probably the part that's most confusing for folks. Dr. Mitchell is going to share our schedule. So if you're listening to this, you are in either cohort A, cohort B, cohort C, or cohort D. Some of you may say, I have no idea what cohort I'm in. Well, if you have no idea, we will put Miss Bliska's, Dr. Mitchell's assistant, he will put her email in the chat, and you will be able to find out what cohort you're in. But let's assume you're in cohort A. That means your parents told us you were going to come to school physically in person Monday and Tuesday. So if you look at Monday, cohort A 1357, at 12:35 you will leave campus if you have a period 7. Lunch at 12:35 is pretty much going to be pick it up and leave campus. 1:40 to 2:30, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, it's digital office hours. Now this chart is confusing because it says at 1:40 cohort A, digital office hours is in person. Well, that doesn't make sense. That's our mistake. Digital office hours for all students are online, not in person. Now, if you're in cohort A, let's say you're in cohort B and you're wondering, hey, what do I do Monday morning? Well, if you have a period 1 and you're in cohort B, you will take class online. So at 8 o'clock, period 1, you will get on the Zoom and the teacher will be teaching cohort A in person at the same time teaching period 1, cohort B while you're at home. Okay, so all of you will be going to class 4 days a week. Just a matter if you have chosen to be in, it matters what cohort you're in. Now, if you're cohort B, you will not physically come to campus until period 1 on Thursday. But if you have a period 1 on Monday, you're going to do the class remotely. All right, this is the trickiest, most confusing part of this whole presentation. You are in cohort A. Tuesday morning, you're supposed to go to period 2 at 8 o'clock. Where you live, all the adults have left. They're off to work, and you're supposed to be here on campus, but you wake up at 7:55 and go, well, I'm not going to make it to campus. I am just going to do my period 2 online, cohort A on Tuesday. Well, you can do that, and we hope you would join us online, but you will still be marked absent. So if you are in cohort A, period 2 on Tuesday morning, and you decide not to come to school, but just watch the class online, you will be marked absent. Now, why are we doing this? Because your parents think you're at school in cohort A on Tuesday. Now, suppose you really do wake up sick Tuesday morning at 7:55 a.m. and you're too sick to come to school, but you want to join us online. Great, you can. But you need to let your parents know you did not come to school for period 2, and they will have to email the attendance office to tell us that they knew you were unable to get to class physically on Tuesdays during period 2. So, a little confusing, but that's how it's going to work. Cohort B, same with you. If on Thursday morning you decide you're not feeling well and you're not going to come to class at 8 o'clock, you'll just do it remotely, you'll be marked absent. And then your parents will need to excuse you through the attendance office. So we expect you to be here if you say you are going to be here physically. I'm now going to turn it over to Ms. Deemer for classroom instruction, what it's going to look like.
Okay, so classroom instruction, basically for those of you that will be present depending on your cohort day, the teacher, you will be present, right, in person, and the teacher will have their Zoom video on for the students that are at home, watching from home. So students at home and you in person will be watching the same lesson, except one of you will be in person and one of you will be watching it from home. Classroom expectations. So right now we are currently working on finishing this up, but making sure that our desks are 6 feet apart. We do ask that you remain in your assigned seat that your teacher will be giving you. And we also ask that you wear your mask at all times and that you maintain social distancing. iPads, you need to bring your iPads every day to school. You need to make sure that they are charged at home. We do not have any charging stations at school, so it's very important that they come fully charged. Dr. Mitchell, do you want to talk about the gap in the schedule?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. Some of you might have what we call a gap period in your schedule. So let me give you some examples. You might have a class first period, but you don't have a class third period, and then you have another class fifth period. So there are a few students that have a situation where you have a gap in the middle of the day. And what we're saying for those students is a few things. You do not have to be on campus if you have a gap in your schedule. We do not take attendance if you have a gap in your schedule. However, if you need to be on campus, if you're with a sibling or you have another reason you need to be on campus, we're going to ask you to go to the library, the CHS library, if you have a gap in your schedule, and we are spacing students out appropriately and making sure we have social distancing going on. If the library becomes full, we'll move you to another area on campus. So again, if you have a gap in your schedule, you do not have a class for a certain period, you do not have to be on campus. Another question that came up from a few students was, if I don't have a first period, when do I go to school? If you don't have a first period, you do not have to be at school until third period, right? Because you don't have a first period. If you don't have a seventh period or you don't have an eighth period, then when your schedule is done for the day, you can leave campus. You can go home, leave campus, okay? So again, you don't have to be here on campus if you have a gap in your schedule. However, if you have a need for being here, then we have a place you can go to be socially distanced from other students.
Okay, I'm going to jump in and talk about lockers a little bit. Right now, we're getting a lot of locker questions, so this is perfect timing. There's a couple things you need to know about lockers. First of all, your book locker is the one you're going to keep for all 4 years. If you're in cohort C or D and you're not going to come to the tour and you're not going to get your locker assignment, that's okay, because we'll catch you in the summertime when you come back for your sophomore year. We'll assign you your locker and we'll move forward from there. Those street lockers have a dial on there with the combination already, so you don't need a lock for those. In your PE classes, your PE lockers have also been spaced out 6 feet, just like we've done with the desks. For those lockers, yes, you will need a lock. So please make sure you have a lock for those. Those lockers are only going to be used when you're changing your clothes for PE. You don't have to wear a PE uniform. You can wear any other type of appropriate PE clothing, and that would be fine. Your PE locker is going to be given to you in your PE class. So keep that in mind. Please don't share your lockers, whether it's your PE locker or your street locker. You want to keep those separate for a variety of reasons. Obviously, for social distancing, we don't want people in the same locker. But throughout your stay here at CHS, we do want you to keep that apart. Typically, every year in the senior year, we have a senior who will say, I turned that book in from my freshman, sophomore, junior year. Why am I being charged for it? Because you shared a locker, your friend used your book, your friend lost your book, and now you're accountable for it. So please, throughout your whole tenure, please do not share lockers. Lunchtime. Lunchtime will be grab and go. We have 2 kiosks in our central quad where we will be distributing lunch. We're also going to have a tent set up along the white curb in the student parking lot where you can just kind of walk through or drive through if you're in, your parents' car, your ride's car, what have you, and pick up lunch. Then you'll eat off campus, whether you do that at home, the park, wherever. It'll be a grab and go. Okay. Restrooms. Restroom stalls, what we've done is every other one we've closed off so that we can maintain social distancing in the restrooms also. Restrooms are not for changing clothes for PE, so please do not do that. All changing of clothes should happen in the PE locker rooms. If you need to use the restroom, please go use the restroom and get out as quickly as possible. We have a variety of procedures in place for cleaning classrooms. So we will be cleaning restrooms 3 times a day. We will be cleaning classrooms at night. We're doing all the high touch surfaces. On Wednesdays, when we have no students here, we're going to do more of a deep clean where we actually do a power wash in our restrooms, and we have a sprayer that we're going to use in our classrooms to disinfect. And again, that's for those high touch areas. Okay. Please make sure you're adhering to social distancing, keeping your 6 feet, as well as wearing masks. The masks have to be appropriate. They've got to be over covering your nose and your mouth, not just your mouth. And I think we're probably going to hit up some questions.
I need to talk about
the screening.
I need to talk, yeah, why don't you show the screening tool?
Okay.
So every day that you are physically coming on campus, if you're in cohort A and B, if you're in cohort B, you don't do the screening tool on Monday and Tuesday because you're not coming to campus. But if you're in cohort A on Monday and Tuesday, you're going to go to the link that is shown here, and that link will be on the website, and we will also send it on campus. And Mrs. Alicia will go over the screening tool.
So this screening tool will be located on both Canvas and on our school website. It will be checked as you come in. We will have a limited number of access points where you can get into the campus each morning. You need to show this as you walk in. So what you'll do from home or in the car is you will fill this out before you get to campus. It's really critical that you use your CUSD email address to fill this out. Next, you're going to fill in the date for that day. As Dr. O'Connor said, if you're in a cohort A, you're only filling this out on Mondays and Tuesdays. And if you're cohort B, you're only filling this out on Thursdays and Fridays. So make sure you select the proper date. Enter your last name and your first name. Are you attending in person today? Yes, you're physically going to be here, or no, my parent or guardian will inform the school for the reason of my absence. Then it asks you the symptom questions. Are you feeling sick today? Yes or no? Real simple. There's an example here of a variety of different types of COVID symptoms. The next question is, are you feeling any of these symptoms? You'll answer yes or no. And then you'll answer the last question, which is, have you been exposed to anybody in the last 10 days that has COVID? Again, yes or no, and then you'll be able to submit that form. When you submit that form, you will get an email back. That email will say, thank you for filling out the form with the current date. You have to have that in order to get in to our campus. So that's what we're going to check for. Not that you have the screening tool on your iPad, but that you've already completed it and received the email back. So that's super important.
Ms. Deemer, do you want to talk about the tours if people have missed, when they can come for a tour?
Sure. Let me talk about a few items. First, I want to address student IDs. So student IDs, if you don't have them, if you lost them in this last year, we ask that you show us a copy of your schedule on your phone, on your iPad. You are able to access that on your Student Connect account. At this time, we aren't sure if we're going to photograph students, if we're going to be able to provide more IDs, but we will definitely let you know. But at this time, that's what we need you to do. If you have it, great, bring it and bring it to school. To answer Dr. O'Connor's question, let's talk a little bit about the tours. This week we have freshman and new student orientation, and I'm going to share my screen and talk about that. So today, Thursday, and Friday, we have tours happening. At these tours, we will give you a tour of the school. You will receive a copy of your schedule, and we will also provide you with your locker information. If you are on the tour and have issues with your locker, this would be the time to address those, and we will have staff to help you with that. If you missed your tour, if you're like Ms. Deemer, I missed my tour, I don't know when I could go, you can come at any of the times that are scheduled here today, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. The times for tours are at 1 o'clock, 1:45, 2:30, and 3:15. So please come at the beginning of the tour, because if you come at the end, we'll have to put you on the next tour. So once again, those times are 1, 1:45, 2:30, and 3:15. And if you missed your tour, you are welcome to come out of your alpha turn. The health office. The health office has been relocated due to COVID. We are now in the theater lobby. So let's just pretend you're walking, you twist your ankle, you're in pain. You would, if you make it to class, you would get a note from your teacher to come to the health office, which is right by the theater tables. You can't miss it. If not, if it's between passing periods, that's where you would go.
So again, on the tours, even if you missed yours, you can come anytime that is on that form that Ms. Deemer sent out. We know that Monday, if you're in cohort A, or Thursday, if you're in cohort B, we know you are not very familiar with this campus. So please just relax. If you get a little confused or lost, then we will have people and proctors around to direct you. We know the first 2 days, first week will be a little bit confusing. Can you wear political masks? Much like clothes, you can wear a Black Lives Matter mask, sure, if it covers your nose and mouth. The only thing we would not allow you to wear is a mask advertising or promoting drugs or alcohol, or if it has vulgarity in it. You can bring your personal laptop to school, but here's the deal. Personal computer devices will not connect to our school Wi-Fi. Now, if you have a hotspot, can you use a hotspot? Yeah, if your parents are paying for you to have a hotspot, then you could bring your own computer to class. PE locks. I don't think we sell PE locks. Don't we provide them? We will provide them.
No.
No.
Students are required to bring their own locks. If for some reason they needed help or can't get it, they should talk to their PE teacher and they will figure out a solution. But students are required to bring those.
And you may know somebody who is older who no longer is taking a PE class, who no longer needs their lock, that maybe they can get one from them too.
Can they buy one here or they have to buy one over the weekend? Or
we
what?
do not sell them at school.
All right, there's your answer to that, folks. Class of 2024, great questions.
Book lockers have a combination lock built into them. So you don't have to worry about your book locker or getting a lock for that. It's only the PE lockers that need one.
Great question about gator masks. I do not have the answer, but you will be getting an email from me. I think gator masks, I don't think they're allowed, but I don't know.
They're not allowed, Dr. O'Connor.
Okay.
The gator masks and the masks with valves are not allowed.
Okay, there you go. That's what we do on
Bandanas are not allowed. It has to be a face covering.
So here's the deal. If you bring a mask and it's not allowed, we'll give you a disposable mask for that day. Supplies, don't really worry about supplies. Teachers will tell you what you need to bring after the first day. Meeting for orientation. If you're dropped off on Indian Hill, you'll see signs. If you dropped off in the parking lot, you'll see signs where to go for orientation. PE clothes purchase. I don't even think we're selling them now, are we?
As long as it's appropriate. You want to bring your yoga pants, your sweats, whatever, that's totally okay. Again, it's like dress code. You want to make sure that it's something appropriate, something that doesn't have drugs or alcohol references, those types of things.
Can you do a tour alone? Yeah, we will give you a tour. Your parents or caregivers cannot come on campus, so they will have to wait in the parking lot. If you're in adaptive PE, why don't you just wait until you come to school and then they'll tell you how you're going, whether you need to change or not. Yes, you can come to a tour today if you can't make it tomorrow.
On our street lockers, we will go ahead and give you that combination. So please make sure you protect that combination and you don't hand it out. Many times, especially in the freshman year, we start out, and this is another reason we don't want you to share your book locker. We have friends, we're sharing a locker, then the relationship goes south and you're no longer friends. Now we have to bump combinations. So please guard that combination with your life.
All right, orientation, when is it? It is every afternoon to get a tour. Mrs. Deemer, it's from 1:30 to what time? Or tours?
1:30 to 4, and the tours are at 1, 1:45, 2:15, and I believe 3. Let me see, I'll tell you in a second. The tours are at 1, 1:45, 2:30, and 3:15.
Can you use your phone in the library? No, that's like a classroom. What's the dress code? You know, pretty much what you wore to middle school would be about the same thing here. We have that on our student parent handbook, which is online. That's how dress code works, but it's very similar. No, your parents may not come with you on a tour, only students. Yes, bring your backpack if you have it. Tour schedule, again, you just come anytime that Mrs. Deemer.
And our tour schedule is on our website on the main page.
If you need an adult with you at all times, so you're saying you normally have a para-educator for a tour. Mrs. Deemer, could you answer that question?
Yeah, they should just check in and inform us, and then we'll accommodate.
All right, so if you chose cohort B and now you want to have your students stay home, please email Marina Bliska as a parent and let her know you want to go to online learning. And Miss Bliska's email, Dr. Mitchell, can you put it in the chat? You don't need your backpack for the tour. If you bring a skateboard, we have skateboard racks on campus where you can lock up your skateboard, or you can carry it with you, but you cannot ride your skateboard on campus.
If you're going to use one of our skateboard racks, please make sure that you use the rack properly and that you do provide your own lock to lock it up. Sometimes kids will just leave their stuff, their boards on the rack, or they'll just hang it and they don't lock it up, and those boards have been known to walk away when they're not locked up.
No, you cannot change your cohort. Are you allowed to stay on campus until practice? If you have nobody that is able to pick you up, then if there's not too many students, we will probably be able to make that happen, yes. Can you bike to the, yeah, well, you can ride your bike to get here and then get off your bike and we'll give you a tour, yes. You don't need your backpacks for the tour. Can you repeat, what do we have to do to switch from real school back to online? Dr. Mitchell, you want to answer that again?
Yeah, go ahead and email me. You can see my email in my name here on the Zoom, and I can check cohorts. If you have a cohort question, I can work with you on that. Just email me as soon as possible. If you're asking to go 100% remote, then email me as soon as possible so that we can put that into our system.
Now, if you have decided you're going to be remote and 2 weeks from now you want to go to hybrid, you can contact us, but there's no guarantee we're going to be able to allow that. It's easier to go from hybrid to remote than from remote to hybrid. Don't worry about colors of PE clothes, not for this year. You want to switch to blended from core right now. Dr. Mitchell, is that allowed? Would they have to email you and get parent permission and your permission, or is it too late?
We definitely need whatever questions come in or requests about cohorts have to come from parents. So we would need a parent information or a parent email about the cohorts. If they're asking to move from core to a blended program, we have to look at every class to make sure we have enough space. That takes time. So if that's a request you have, you need to send that as soon as possible because we're fielding many requests about different cohort arrangements. So email me. You can see my email if you have a question about that, but it does have to come from a parent.
Drop off. There was a really good question about where to parents drop off in the school days. We generally have 3 areas where parents will drop off. Some parents will drop off kids at Cahuilla Park in the parking lot and they would just walk on onto our campus from that point. Some of them drop off in our student parking lot. If you're in the student parking lot, please do not drop off in the driveway or on the staff side. Please follow the flow of traffic. Drop your kids off at the appropriate place. The reason we don't want you dropping off is that as you're dropping off in the driveway, they have to cross traffic. And if somebody's driving into the sun and they don't see your kid, that's a potential for your kid to get hurt. And so we really don't want kids to get hurt. The other location where kids can be dropped off would be Indian Hill Boulevard.
There will not be much traffic because we're in cohorts. Next year, you'll see the real craziness. Yes, you can come to orientation today at 3:15 if you can't make it tomorrow. Can you buy food from restaurants? Next year, when we come back to regular, we will discuss can food be delivered to school. ROP classes, will they be online? Dr. Mitchell, I should know and I don't know. Do we know yet? You're muted, Dr. Mitchell.
It's a great question. With the ROP classes, we know that they're on a different schedule. So many of those classes meet 4 days a week, and we will have to confirm with them, and they all have different schedules. They work at different high schools. We'll get that information out to you as soon as we can confirm it, because again, most of them meet 4 days a week. It's possible some of those classes could be 100% online because those teachers are working at different high school campuses. So we need to clarify that, and we'll send that information out to those students as soon as we can get it, hopefully in the next day or so.
There are some students who have an IEP that normally have a paraeducator. We will write that question down and we will contact you to find out how that's going to work.
Yes, if a student has a paraeducator and that's part of their IEP, that they will continue having a paraeducator. Can you change before a PE class somewhere else besides the locker room? Yeah, there have been times students, we discourage it, but
because we have limited the amount of open stalls in the restroom, we really need you to go into those locker rooms, at least for the remainder of this year.
How classrooms will be cleaned and sanitized between periods? You know, they won't be, but you're not going to be sharing desks. So you will have a seated, well, you will have a desk, you're right, in between periods, different students could be coming. So yeah, you will be sharing desks, but no, we will not be doing any specific sanitizing. Your chances of getting COVID from touch are pretty low, but if you're very concerned or you have some sort of autoimmune disease, you can bring your own wipes and wipe down a desk before you sit down. That's how we'll be doing that. Can you, where to fill out the COVID? The COVID survey before, if you're in cohort B, you will need to fill it out Thursday and Friday. That link will be in a Canvas email or we will send it. It'll also be on our website. You can't make orientation. How do you get your class schedule? You can go on to Q and you should see your class schedule with your room assignments. So either take a picture of that or print that.
Q is also your Student Connect.
You need to change your PE locker, you would talk to your PE teacher. What's the difference between cohorts A, B, C, and D? Okay, Dr. Mitchell, you want to talk about that?
Sure. So, and I'll be very quick. Cohorts A and B, those are the cohorts that will be attending in person. So again, if you're in cohort A, you'll come to school physically Monday and Tuesday, and then you'll Zoom into your classes on Thursday, Friday. If you're in cohort B, you'll Zoom into your classes Monday, Tuesday, and physically come Thursday, Friday. If you're in cohort C, that is the core group. That's a number of students who've been in a status throughout most of the year where they've been 100% remote. And if you're in cohort D, you will be 100% remote as well. So regardless of which cohort you are in, you will be attending class every day, either in person or virtually on Zoom 4 days a week.
Please do not leave iPads in lockers. I realize if you're going to PE, you're going to put your iPad in your PE locker and you're going to lock it up. So that's, you want to really safeguard against that. But you shouldn't be leaving things like iPads or expensive items in any type of locker overnight.
How many people in each cohort? Well, it's half the school, but most likely when you come to school, many students are remaining online learning. So you may have classes with only around 10 students in them at a time.
Right. So the average,
go ahead.
The average class size is 10 students. So when you go to class physically, if you go to class physically, most classes will be 10 students. You might have some with more students. You might have some that have fewer students. So again, the average throughout the campus is 10 students who will be physically present in person.
Yeah, the football locker room's the same as the PE locker rooms. Well, our locker rooms have been renovated, but basically for football, no, it would be different than from football. Insurance on school iPads. It probably is not too late. I don't know where that information is. It's buried in a website somewhere. I'll look that up and put something out on that. Can you use your phone?
Go ahead, Brett.
Can you use your phone during passing periods? Yes.
There's a great question here about cleaning and sanitizing between periods. We have close to 100 classrooms on campus. There's no way we can clean 100 classrooms in 10 minutes. But you're going to get something that looks like a large placemat. It's clear, and that'll be yours. And you can put your name on it. And then you will take that from classroom to classroom and lay it over your area to keep that clean. Somebody asked, can I bring my own wipes to wipe my area down? Absolutely, if that's something you're interested in. We are going to have bottles of sanitizer or disinfectant in the classrooms. Totally up to you if that's something you're like, you go to your teacher and want to use. Totally up to you, not mandated at all. All of our disinfecting will happen during the night shift when our night crew comes through. And then we'll do a different type of sanitizing that's a little bit more on the deep cleaning where we actually spray everything down on Wednesdays. Same thing with restrooms. On restrooms, we'll be cleaned 3 times a day. We go in, we go over all the high touch areas. And then on Wednesdays, we actually are going to power wash down with a solution, everything, walls, countertops, sinks, you name it. It'll all be power washed.
Where do you meet for PE classes? Worry about that when you get here. We'll have lots of people to direct you, but it's down by the swimming pool, outside the boys and girls locker rooms.
You don't need to bring anything to orientation. There's been lots of questions about, do we bring backpacks and things? You won't need to. Really, all you're getting is your locker combination. Did I miss anything, Ms. Steamer?
We got some engaged students from the class of 2024. This is great. Still have 367 participants. I would say you need to bring your books to class the first day, and then they'll tell you what you need to bring every day. Why is there a no gator mask rule? So no gator mask rule because CDC has determined they are not as safe as other masks. Yeah, you need to get to school a little early because, yes, we have to check in quite a few kids. We're probably not going to mark you tardy on the first or second day, but after that, you'll know how long it takes. Start school next week. Well, yeah, you do. Whether you're in A, B, C, or D, you start school next week. If you're in A, you'll come to campus Monday and Tuesday. And if you're in B, you will go to class remotely Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is just like now. You just have Wolf Den. Thursday and Friday, cohort B, we will see you here physically. Cohort A, Thursday and Friday, you will be in the same class, but you're going to be doing it online. If you don't get your lockers, if you don't come to orientation, you'll get them next year during registration. Tours required? No. Who do you turn from help? Opening locker. It's going to happen a lot in the beginning. We will have, you'll see us floating around. We'll have proctors. We'll help you. Relax. You're not going to be marked tardy if your locker doesn't open on the first day and you're late to class. We're very nice people here. We understand, class of 2024. Monday or Thursday is your first day of high school. It's going to be very different, confusing, but we are very empathetic people and we're going to work with you. We do not want you to be any more stressed than you already might be. Some of you are going to have a lot of anxiety Monday or Thursday morning. Others of you won't. We understand that. It depends who your personality. Name tags on your mask, I guess, if you want to. If orientation's blocked by a sport, well, we have 3 more days of orientation. If you can't make it, you may have to miss practice or talk to your coach if you want a tour. You need to miss the first week of school in person. Your parents need to send an email to our attendance office. Great questions. I'm writing a lot down here. You're going to get a long email from Dr. O'Connor at some point. Dr. Mitchell and my colleagues here, I'm behind on the emails. So if you're seeing stuff. Wear hats in class, it's up to the teacher. The teacher says no, the answer is no. Can you switch your locker, your street locker? Only if it's because of height. If you're really tall and it's too low, we will try and help you. And if you're not as tall and you can't reach the top locker in the street locker, then yes, we will change it.
Dr. O'Connor, I have another meeting that I have to go to.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Deemer, for being here and for answering all these questions. What do you bring if you're coming back in person? Bring your textbooks the first day. You have a backpack, and yeah. Do you do the screening form every day you come to campus? Yes. So if you're in cohort B, you will do the screening form on Thursday and Friday. The gator mask rule, I have no idea what elementary students are doing. Remember, elementary students